Oh, good evening, good evening, good evening, good people, and welcome to another segment of Keep It 100 with Meshell.A. We are excited to be here on tonight, but we want you guys to do one thing. We want you to comment, like, and share. Take a moment and share it to your big brother, share it to your family member, actually share it to your community. Super excited. I'm going to, with no delay, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to bring these leaders up tonight because we are talking about emotions. Yep, that's what I said. Not emotions, but he motions. So I'm going to go ahead and bring everybody up on tonight. Welcome, 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 and welcome to the platform. And as we normally do, woo, got all caught up with trying to breathe as we always do. I want everybody to take a moment and just let everybody know who you are and where you're from, but also take and share this segment to your page. And we are popcorn style.
Good evening and God bless everybody. I am Pastor Denise Slaughter, pastor of Kingdom Restoration Ministries Incorporated, located in Raleigh, North Carolina, where my husband, Elder Joseph Slaughter, serves with me. And I am so excited to be in here again tonight. Meshell.A, thank you for the invitation. You know, I love you, woman of God.
I know you do. Pastor Moss. Oh, I think she froze. Go ahead. Oh, no, she's not. What's going on? So is it me?
No, she keeps freezing.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, my name is Pastor Violet Moss, and I'm uh, associated with Agape Ministries, where I serve under Apostle William and Brendel Smack in Seaford, Delaware. I'm from Salisbury, Maryland, though.
Ah. Pastor Roach.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Ira Roach III. I am the senior pastor of City of Refuge Church. We're located in Dover. I've been the pastor for over 18 years, and I hope that I can bring something to the table tonight. So God bless everybody.
Okay, all right. So as I said, we may have some people who are popping in a little bit later, but right now we're going to start with who we have. So tonight we're going to be talking about emotions. Um, uh, this message could go out to those who are married. It can go out to those who have brothers, uncles, any man or male figure in your life. Us women, we want to know: do y'all even get emotional? I mean, like when you're going through things, y'all don't talk. You ain't saying nothing. So you're confusing us just a little bit. And so we wanna have that dialogue because there are some women out there who feel isolated. I'll say that. As the male is going through his process of trying to figure it out. Because women, uh we are outward. Listen, when we go through something or it's pain or something, then we got to talk. We were just talking, talking, talking. But when a man is going through something, Pastor Ma, I see you shaking your head. But when a man is going through something, normally he holds it in. And we have no idea what it is he's talking about. And if most women are like me, are you okay? Do you need anything? What's going on? What's on your mind? And not even realizing that is irritating the crap out of him. So what say ye? Let's talk with Pastor Roach. So why y'all so quiet? Wait. Let me say this because I do want to make sure I get this out. So from what I gathered, most men, their voices were stolen from them when they were little boys. You know how your dad or your mom would always be like, "Stop crying, shut up all that noise, stop acting like this," and so they automatically begin to develop a wall or what have you when it came to their emotions. So what say you, Pastor Roach? I said Ross.
Uh, So first, I think we need to not put every man in a box and a bin together. Um,
Stereotype.
every woman is not a hoe,
You're right.
even
So
if even if she's been
why
through.
you have to go to
I,
hoe?
and y'all, because that'd be offensive to you, right?
Yeah.
So there's some men, there's some brothers that have been to college and have taken communication and have been married to the girl, and you telling them they like the men that don't know how to talk. So that's
Wow.
offensive. So
Wow.
we don't want to say the majority or every man, or we're gonna say those men who have been raised by fathers who did not or were taught.
So
Um,
wait, so let me I didn't mean to cut you off, but let me say this. The survey that I did today, those men said the majority of the men, that is the reason why. So no, I'm not gonna put every man in. How you gonna come on and just rebuke me from the beginning? But
I'm
go
not.
ahead.
I'm not. I'm
Go
not.
ahead. You're fine. Go ahead.
So we do know that but you gotta remember, men are from Mars and women are from Venus. So even if we did try to talk to y'all would get offended sometimes because we are talking two different languages. We're going wah 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 wah. But why you ain't talk to me? Cause wah 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 wah. We try to tell you and you still don't hear it. So men are from Mars, and from what I've seen, and you know, I'm not married anymore, but I try to work on communication, and I think a lot of it is honestly just clarity. There's one thing I can tell you women here, and if you don't understand it, then you're gonna walk away and think, like, sometimes y'all want to you beautify yourselves. And this is funny, but you beautify yourself, and you expect us to notice that you got a little clip or what you call them things y'all get in your hair, a little highlight. You expect us to see that highlight. We don't work all day, and you come home and you pray for us, and we don't see that highlight, and we don't went through dinner, and we don't went through we done got to church, and you ready to get funny with us. Y'all pray for my husband that he noticed me. I'm just messing, but sometimes we're lookers, and I think sometimes our languages are just different. And I'm sure these women are married. I'm sure it's and sometimes it comes down to love languages, clarity. And over the years, and I know we're talking about emotions, but our love language is important too. So if our love language is, for instance, affirmations, and you call us dumb every day of the week, you're not going to see our emotions because we're shutting down. And it's not about our voice being taken, it's because our love language, we try to make sure that when you want to, like you used before, when something happened to you, you want us to caress you want us to hold you, you want us to be there, you want us to show up, and that's, and 9 out of 10, God, he made you that way. It doesn't make you emotional, but you have emotions, and so we're supposed to be your covering. So of course you're gonna want that protection, but in the same time, we need you to cover us too. And so if we have a love language that's affirmations, I don't need you to tell me I look good all the time, but appreciate me.
Got you.
I forgot to tell you the last 2 months that your hair looked good, but the one month I did, appreciate me for it.
Got you.
I know I forgot 3 months your hair didn't look good. I didn't say it, but fuss so much. Then I remember, make a big deal about it, because if you don't, you're not not really affirming me, but you're not appreciating me. So that's what that love language is very important, and it's very important. What I've noticed in the communication and clarity and men and women, because we could be talking one language and we're going wah wah wah. Same with you. We have different likes. We have different
Yeah.
interests. This world is stupid to think that men and women love the same things. No, we don't. I don't care how many equal rights movements they have. There's some things us men are gonna always rule in, and there's some things you women are gonna, like having babies. I wouldn't want to have one. I don't know what man want to be a woman. God bless him, because I wouldn't want all that foolishness. I'm just saying. And I think we have to get back to men loving to be men. Look at the TV now. They paint us in an ugly picture. The ugliest pictures you see, we in jail, or we're broke, or and then you got the sisters that are, looking like you, Meshell, that's single, and you don't want me coming out of prison,
No.
or you don't want me and I'm looking like I'm broke. But I'm a good man. I'm gonna treat you right. I'm gonna treat you like a queen. I'm gonna make sure, I might not have all the money. And so sometimes I think it's just society. That's two things I said. The media and society is a mess. And so sometimes, now one thing I do know about us, we're runners. Since the beginning, what did Adam do? I can't explain why, but we will run. Do you hear me? We will run. So, or shut down because, and it depends on the background. But a lot of what I know he emotions. I remember Bishop Jakes wrote about he emotions, and he tried to years ago. He tried to tell us about try to talk to women about the men about we do have emotions, but like you said, the different backgrounds. But I do know every one of us have a love language. We want to be loved too. Big,
Got
great,
you.
big buck that's 6'5", 300 pounds, wants to be loved by his wife. Maybe
Yeah.
not everybody. And I had to learn that too. My wife was very strong and she was independent and but she told me one day, but I'm not like that with you. I'm like that with everybody, but I'm not like that with you. And I'm
That's
like,
good.
oh, okay. So I'm thinking you bad, you don't, you go through something, you don't really need me to say nothing, but I had to learn. And
Yeah.
that's one thing we gotta be willing to learn and hear each other. So that's my take, just
Okay.
that
So,
clarity.
Pastor Denise, I know that you are taking notes. And one thing that I don't want to overlook is the fact that, like everything that he just said, that doesn't come or that doesn't play a part if there's no communication.
Right.
So there's no communication. There's no way that either side can figure it out. And I think most of the times we just expect for the person to, like, my character or how I am. But I may not really know how it is when you shut down. So to someone else, that shutdown may seem like rejection, but it may
Mhm.
not be rejection. It might be the fact that he's trying to figure it out.
Mhm.
Like I said, I have a lot of guy friends. I have a lot of guy friends, just only guy friends, but I have a lot of guy friends, and I watch them. And not only do I watch them, I talk to them. You know what I mean? And a lot of them, they have a lot of mood swings. And I'm looking at them like, but they're having mood swings. And when I'm talking, sometimes they may not say anything. And I'm like, well, did you just hear what I said? And he's like, yeah, I'm trying to process it. I'm trying to figure it out. It's not that I'm trying to egg you out, but what I'm saying is, if there's no communication, then I don't know that you're trying to process it.
Right. I would definitely say, Pastor Roach, that was some awesome, awesome, awesome
Thank you.
information. And as we say, communication is the key, but how we communicate is also the key. We have to understand that I communicate non-verbally as well as verbally. And so we have to pay attention to all of the different communication styles. And that takes process. We're dating, dig into those questions. When you get mad or you get upset or something you say to me upsets me, don't wait till you go home, let it sit and settle down, and then you want to call. Put it on the table right then. Let's talk about what you said. Or I have learned through counseling, through school, that how you say something, what you said made me feel. And that way we take that person off of the defense. That's another style of communication. Don't say things that, well, you shouldn't have done this. No, when you did such and such, I felt this way. And that
Mhm.
person's more apt to listen to you when you have to say it. But communication in any relationship, whatever the emotions is, if you don't learn to communicate effectively, you're always going to feel like you're on the outside looking in.
I think that's good. And then you also got to remember, you're not always right. You're not, or I'll say your perspective of it does not mean that that's the only perspective of it, if that makes sense. And so if I'm saying, well, you look like you're mad with me, and he said he's saying, no, I'm not mad. I'm not upset. Well, you're not saying anything. Okay, I'm just trying to listen. And it can really become an argument. It
But you know what? I think that too comes from whatever, especially if you've been in a relationship, prior relationship, and if how I communicated in that prior relationship, I come in my next relationship with the expectation that this is how I communicate, and this you're going to learn my language, but I don't take the time to learn your language.
Right.
And so
Hmm.
we start off clashing because of my expectations that you're supposed to know that if I say something, this is what it is, or if I'm quiet.
That's good.
So the root of that is number one, not coming to a relationship expecting that person to know how you communicate, to know what your language is,
Yeah.
and then not treating that person expecting to be treated like your last relationship.
Yeah.
Ooh, Pastor,
If I may,
right.
Pastor Slaughter said something, and you did as well, Meshell. one, what Pastor Slaughter said exactly is that number one, when we're dating, you got to tell me who you are. Because if you don't tell me who you are, then it ain't no point. And there's something called cognitive distortions, where you see stuff in black and white. Everything's
Mhm.
not black and white, and it's called
Right.
it's 10 examples of cognitive distortion. Like you said a while ago, you look like you mad. Look, you're not my mind, so how can you tell me I'm mad?
Yeah.
So, but also when you said about rejection, the one thing about rejection with men and women, but it's even worse with men, it's nothing worse than an insecure man, but the root of that is he's been rejected. And so rejection leads to insecurity.
Mhm.
Insecurity leads to all that comparison. Well, you didn't smile at me like you smiled at your ex.
True.
You didn't treat me like you treated your ex. You didn't, in ministry, Pastor Slaughter, I'm sure she understands what I'm saying, you get a thing, and I'm not saying, it happens.
Mhm.
Well, you clap for them when they preach. You didn't even holler for me, and that all for real,
Yeah.
and it's real, and it's real, and so that comes from that rejection. And so, like she said, when you together, and sometimes we do falter as men. We don't want to tell them the ugly parts of us because we think y'all gonna leave us. I tell this woman I done beat women, she ain't gonna want to talk to me no more. Or if I tell her, I got my credit scores are 4, she ain't gonna want me no more. And so, you,
4.
I'm just saying, we'll say 400. Then that's just as bad. She ain't gonna want me no more. When I'm, she gonna want me. So we shut down, and sometimes we put on those masks, and
Mhm.
those masks got to come off.
Yeah.
Even in COVID, we might have warm outside, but when we got in that house, we took the mask off. So that mask got to come off. So I just would hope that any man, and woman, we got to take the mask off, because if
Yeah.
it's the one that we find, she gonna still be our wife, and she gonna love us through it. So
That's right.
So I'm gonna circle that because I want to go back and I want to talk about the mask. But Pastor Moss, what say ye? Okay, so she froze. All right, so Pastor Ross, I keep saying Ross, Pastor Roach. I know that you have to leave, but I
hmm
want to give you my platform before you leave, and I
hmm
just want you to share on that on this topic. What would you say to the women, not to the men, but
hmm
to the women who don't understand?
I talked at a fatherhood initiative 2 weeks ago, and it's men that are trying to put fathers more into being in their children's lives. And so it was a room full of men, but they said we invite the women too. So some of the women had wives, and this one woman asked me a question. She was single. She said, "I'm waiting on my man. I'm waiting on my husband." So she was like, "What do you do when you try to go to a man and and he don't trust you?" And so this is for this platform. Sometimes it's not about that we don't trust you, but you have different anatomy than we have. So sometimes it's good that we can talk to you about things, but sometimes we need somebody that we look like to come in some situations we go through, that we can trust. You know, uh, Shell, you my wife, and you see I'm going through. I lost my job. Just the second job I lost. It could be some prejudice, Um, and you come and you do like you said a while ago, get on my nerves. You okay? Want some tea? Want some coke? No, I'm fine. You give me one word answers, but honestly, find me someone who you trust, that I trust,
Oh, that's
that
good.
is a man of God, or somebody that we have the same kind of mindset, that you trust, that you can give me to, and say, my husband needs you, and I know I can't do it. So it's not that you're not a good wife or you're not a good woman. You're just not a man. And sometimes to this thing, we need a
Can you hear
man to
me,
talk
Shell?
to. We need a
Hmm.
man to talk to. So it's not that you're not. So the woman that's asking the question, that you said that don't understand, don't always put it on you that you're doing something wrong. I think Pastor said it earlier. Sometimes we got to process it. We're not the easiest
Can you hear me,
being,
Michelle?
and it doesn't mean we're a demon. It just, we're men, and I'm not saying that there's some things are men and are women, because God put it in us innately. Some things are inherently ours, and one of those things are, He made us to dominate. So maybe, even though we woman came from us, if we feel like we failed, we don't want to talk to you because we failed you. We failed you. So we don't
Wow.
want to talk to you. We don't want to necessarily. You've been made us, break down. So don't. So and I have to go, but don't necessarily feel it's your fault, ma'am, young woman, ma'am. Don't feel it's your fault if you can't seemingly get through to us. Sometimes find someone that you trust. Is there a brother? Is there an uncle? Is there
Mhm.
an older elder in the church that we can talk to? And you're doing your job then, and you ain't got to tell us. Because y'all women know how to do stuff. Sometimes we think we done it, and y'all done went behind the scenes. It burns me up. And y'all done went behind the scenes, and you planned it the whole time. Look, y'all, man, God gave me something. Y'all done went behind the scenes and did the whole time. So please don't feel like it's you, young lady or young woman. Sometimes, the trust, we do trust you. But the talking in some situations, we can go in the bedroom and talk sometimes, and it's just me and you, and you're going to get me through it. But sometimes as a man, we need to talk to someone that we look like, someone that's us. That good?
That's good. All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for your input, your perspective.
Thank
So
you.
whenever you're ready to go, you can go. I don't know what's going on with Pastor Moss. I think she went out. She's going to try to come back in. And I'm also unsure whether our broadcast is even up and running. It looks like I have a little delay, but nevertheless, so one man left, and we've got another man coming in. And as you see, I have on the screen, and it says, "Does he trust you with his pain?" These are some questions that I thought about a little early on today, and I kind of wanted to talk about this because listen, I know when he came in a while ago, he was saying that not all men are the same, and they aren't. I'm talking about the men who have dealt with emotional trauma. I'm talking about the men who have, they don't know how to express that they're going through. I am talking about the grown man who's still dealing with the little boy that's on the inside, where the mom told him, or the dad told him, shh, stop crying, and they shut their emotion. Those are the people that I'm definitely talking to. Those are the people that we're reaching, that I want to reach out to on today. And Carter, welcome to our platform. So, for those who are just now joining, we are talking about emotions. And I want you to take a minute, and I want you to share out this broadcast. I want you to share out this broadcast to your men friends, share it out to your uncles, share it out to your brothers, and let's talk. So, welcome, Carter. Welcome with all your noise and everything. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So the
Yeah, I'm
question
driving.
so the question that is on the floor today is, does he trust you with his pain? So as women, Pastor Slaughter, are we as friends, as wives, as whatever, are we setting atmospheres where they can feel like they can trust us? Are you a motor mouth? Do you share everything? Like do you talk and not allow him room or space to talk? So can he trust you with his pain?
Right. I would say yes and no. And it depends on, of course, the woman. A mature woman, a woman who's confident in herself, a woman who has gone through the process most of the time of being hurt herself, understands what it means. Oh, I'm sorry, my mic was off. Praise God. I'm sorry.
I heard
I
you.
would say, okay, yes and no. It depends on the woman. It depends on the process that she's gone through herself. It depends on where her relationship is with that man. And I would say it would start with me. It started with my son. Well, as I was married for a while with my ex-husband, but because he wasn't a good communicator, I didn't know a lot of things that he was going through. Now, the husband that I have now, we talk about every and anything, even during our dating season. Nothing was off limits. And we dated for 5 months and it was long distance. But we made sure that whatever we knew that we were going into, we had a discussion about it. And we're
Communication.
still discussing it. And to the point that he knows that whatever he says to me, it's between him and I.
Hmm.
Okay. Unless he says, babe, I'll say, do you mind if I talk to such and such about this, that, or the other? Now there are times that he may say something that hurts me, and I know he's not doing it intentionally, but that comes with the maturity of me and knowing my mate. We talk about trust, but trust is earned and it's a process. It's earned. So I remember even with my sisters, natural and spiritual, I didn't, if the one way I learned if I could trust somebody is I would tell them something I didn't care if it got back. And if
Right.
it got back, then I knew I can't trust you.
I did that
And
test too.
that test, yes.
Yeah.
But with my husband, it's a process because I didn't really know him. He didn't really know me, but we took some time to learn each other. And we're still learning, and we will always be learning. So I just believe that it's a yes and a no answer. It depends on that woman. It depends on her maturity level. Most women of God who have been healed, who have gone through the process of knowing who they are, yes, I do believe you can trust them, that they can trust you. But again, it's a process, and that man has to be open enough to understand, okay, I can trust her. I've been with her long enough to know that she got my back, and I don't mind sharing with her.
That was really some good nuggets, because like Pastor Roach was saying a while ago. Welcome, Pastor Lillian. Like Pastor Roach was saying a while ago, like we are totally different. So women, most of us are like so trustworthy. I trust not all of us, but I trust every word that he says, or I trust that he's going to do what he said. But listen, when it comes to men, they watching you. They watching you. They looking at your pattern. They're watching and seeing what you're saying. And when you think that they trust you, they may not really trust you. Like me, for me, I only give people what I want them to know. You know what I mean? And I have a very few people that I can say, "Oh, I trust you with my life," or I'll share every detail. I'm not about. I think I was just talking about that today. Like I only share but so much, and then see how that goes over. So Carter,
Yes.
what is your take on that?
Well, I'm a firm believer that, like I said, with men, men don't share like that until they truly trust you. And trust is developed in a relationship. In whatever, whatever type of relationship that you have, trust is developed over time, and through experiences. Um, and so, if you have a man that does share his emotion, that man trusts you to a great deal, just to get him to begin to share and say, "Look, this is how I'm feeling." Um, that is one of the biggest signs of a man that trusts you. Is the fact that he will share that, "Hey, look, this is what I feel." Now, I say, I got no problem telling him that I'm ticked off, but to tell you that, I'm disappointed. To tell you that whatever was said or done hurt me, that's a whole nother level of trust. And a lot of times for men, it's hard for us to have that sharing because the person that I'm supposed to share this with, specifically if it's in a relationship, uh, you know what I mean, she's supposed to see me as strength. And for me to show that there's something going on, or that I don't have it at this moment, then, the man is always worried that that woman who's supposed to look to him will no longer look to him. So that's part of the reason why we keep stuff so bottled and so close and hold it so close to our vest because, being that you're supposed to be the strength, being that you're supposed to be the one that's thinking logically and not so moved by your emotions, to let that woman know that at this moment my emotions are getting the best of me. That is a level of trust and intimacy that is it's hard to get to, but if you get to it and never break it, you'll probably never see it again.
So all right. So remember the question that is down there by Carter. I was just listening to what you were saying. So I guess my question would be like, who told you that? Like, who told you that all women are? I know that we do, but who told you that when you come in a relationship, we expect for you to be the strength? It's some women out there who feel like, well, when you are in a vulnerable place or a place of emotion, then I want to be that strong person. I could be wrong. I could be the only woman. I would like to be that strength for you. You know what I mean? Like, I want to make sure. My best friend wrote a book, and the book was saying, I think it said something about her lab, his safe place. Like, some men don't even give us the opportunity to be that safe place, because you come in with a with the mindset of, I am the strength. So I guess my question is, woo, got me tongue tied.
Uh,
Where does the men get where does that come from, thinking that you've got to be the strong person? I like it. I do
what
like it.
what
But where do you get it from?
well if a man has truly been raised by some strong men, then most of those strong men have taught him, what I mean, hey, get up from there.
So
Wipe
Pastor
yourself
Denise,
off.
that's
Come
what I was
on.
trying to say while ago. I was trying to say that while ago, but go
Yeah,
ahead.
I mean,
That's what I'm trying to say.
we've been groomed and trained into that. I never forget. I had a situation. Me and my grandfather were working on something, and my grandfather dropped his end, and I mean, because it was heavy. And when he dropped his end, the thing, it hit me and broke the skin. You know what I mean? It hurt. And my granddad looked at me and said, "Oh my goodness." He said, "I know that hurt, son." He said, "But he said that that hurt so bad." But he said he wanted to cry, but manhood won't let it.
That's deep.
And and that was the truth. You know what I mean? It hurt, but because I'm with these strong men, and I was probably 25 years old the first time I seen my grandfather cry.
Wow.
And it took, you know what I mean, and it took, you know what I mean, my cousin was killed, and my granddad walked out to the truck to go to work like he normally would, and all of a sudden he just had a moment, you know what I mean. But that was the first moment, and probably and the last moment. I've never seen it before. I've never seen it since. You know what I mean? And so this is like the model that most men have been given of displaying strength, and it's truly dysfunctional, but it's what we've been given, and it's what we've been taught. It's what it's learned.
That's
And
good.
so now, you know what I mean, you're at a place now where when you go into relationships, or for that matter, even when you come to Christ, when I come to Christ, I was like, man, this is crazy, because man, here I'm doing all this crying. I ain't never cried. You know what I mean? I'm like, man, you know what I mean? They got me here in this church in front of all these people, man, just weeping. And I'm like, man, look, this ain't right. Something's wrong with this. You know what I mean? It's that deep seated into a man, that you're not supposed to be this emotional creature. But the
That's
fact is, we are just as emotional as women. We just don't display it, or we
that's
display it,
good.
or we
That,
display it in the wrong manner.
that's good. That's
or
good
in
information.
the
Hold on
only
to that.
manner.
Hold on. I want to get Pastor Lillian. I'll just let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and if you want to jump in, you can.
Good evening. I am so sorry. I am pulling double duty, obviously.
We're good.
So, I am Pastor Lillian Harrison of Elevated Ministries, located in Milford, Delaware. And thank you again for the platform and the invite. And my apologies again for the hour. And I do love this topic, even as a single woman. People would think, but obviously I've been in relationships, and I love what the brother was saying. And the sad part for me as a woman and as a strong woman is that I need my strong man to know that him being vulnerable does not make him less of a strong man. And I think because society has reared our men as such, that by the time they are close to breaking, or the time they break, they're walking out of relationships because they don't know how to rebound from now this fracture of this facade. And I think that's really very sad, because a lot of our men are suffering in silence when they don't have to, because true vulnerability, and true if love is patient, love is kind, and love is all these things, then I think what we need to be showing our men is how much we love them in every facet of their being.
That's good stuff. Pastor Denise, Pastor
Yeah.
Moss, I see you. All right, Pastor Denise.
Yes, I was going to say what Brother Carter was saying about men showing, a lot of men don't only, I'm going to say only, the main emotion that men display is anger. That comes easy for most men. So to have a strong woman in their life, it takes a strong woman, a confident woman, a secure woman, a free woman to be able to, like Pastor Lily was saying, to let your man know, baby, you safe with me.
Mhm.
Why aren't you crying? Because I know I would be. I know you're not me. It's okay for you to be angry. You are safe laying your head in my lap. I'm not going to cut your hair off. I'm not going to demean you. I'm not going to belittle you. You are safe with me. And being able to let him know that it's okay. And a society, upbringing, um, all of that plays a part in why a lot of our men don't show that other emotion of happy, or it's like there's no balance in there. So it takes, again, like I said, a strong woman to be able to get with that man, spend some time with him, learn him. And I say to my sisters, when you get in a relationship, don't let that relationship be all about what you can get. Let it be about, what can I give? What does this man need from me? What is it that God has placed in me that I can help bring out the best in him, and he can help bring out the best in me?
So listen, a lot of stuff that y'all are saying, I got marked over here in my banner that I was gonna put up, and we was gonna talk about it, but y'all already bringing it out. But I think that those are some really really good nuggets that you were talking about. Going into a relationship, just thinking it's about you, it's about you. Most of the time, most men, they just want, like, it's not about what you can. I'm not all men, but a lot of men, it's not about what you can give them or how you can treat them. It's, can they trust you with what they're going through? And some may say, "Oh, I want to be married. The more I want to be married, we've been in this 10 years. How come he ain't married me? Does he trust you with what it is? Does that make sense, or did I just make that up?"
And sometimes, Michelle, it can be he don't trust himself.
Mhm.
Sometimes it has nothing to do with the woman. Sometimes it has, he's afraid of commitment. He's been hurt before. He
Mm-hmm.
has trusted before, and this is what it's ended up. So then at that time, that man has to be healed and allow God to heal him and talk it out with that lady and let her know, look, last time I did such and such, this is what happened, and I'm afraid. And then
Mm-hmm.
she can't bite his head off and say, "But baby, I can show you better than I can tell you."
It's all about communication. So, Pastor Moss, wave your hand. Can you hear me? All right. So, go ahead. Jump right in. Jump right in. I think it's just not going to work for her. I see you moving,
Mhm.
Pastor Moss. If you can hear me, wave your hand.
Oh, it's a delay.
I
He's on mute.
Yeah, you're on mute.
I had
Okay.
it muted. It was. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're with us. Oh, it's a big delay.
Mhm.
I'm off. I'm still on mute.
No, you're good. That
Okay.
was like that was like
Like
10 seconds ago.
Pastor Denise was saying, sometimes it's not um you, but sometimes it's the man. Oh Jesus. I don't know what's going on.
Just keep
You know,
talking, Pastor.
it
We
says
got
that my
you.
internet is strong, but I don't know what's going on with this delay. But it, okay, okay. Anyway, my husband was telling me, he said I was uh one that he trusted because he couldn't trust, and he said I opened up that you might trust me, and I said okay, but a lot of times I couldn't take what he was saying. You know what I mean? Because a lot of stuff that he was saying, it didn't make sense to me, but it made a lot of sense to him. So I had to realize that, what he was saying, I had to really listen, because I wasn't hearing what he was saying, you know, and he was thinking that I just wasn't listening. I just didn't understand what he was saying, Uh, but I'm learning now that I have to really listen at him to see what he's saying. You know, I've been married before, but I wasn't married to him. So it took me a while to really get what he was saying.
Okay. All right. So let's keep right on moving. So I guess my next question is gonna be to Carter, and then we will respond. Let me let her go out and try again. So my next question is on the floor is as a woman, do we create an atmosphere that is conducive to what he needs? And I guess so my question, Carter, is what the heck would the atmosphere even look like? What I mean, what how are we supposed to set it? So my question to you two is, do we set or do we create an atmosphere? But to Carter, what the heck does it, I know, but I'm just asking, what does it even look like? Because I know each man is different, but so there are some people, some women who feel like, okay, when I come home, make sure that everything was cleaned up, so that's an atmosphere of peace that is set. But how do I need to create an atmosphere so that you can come to me?
Um, I would say that the atmosphere that you set, you mean, yeah, granted, you know, what I mean, having the house nice, whatever, all that's beautiful. But the atmosphere that's actually set is the tone that you have when you respond. Because when I begin to talk, if I get the wrong response or the wrong, or I'm reading, they say, reading the vibe that you're giving me, that vibe tells me that you're not interested in what I have to say,
Mm-hmm.
or that vibe tells me that uh, if I say the wrong thing, that you're going to respond
Mm-hmm.
in a negative manner. Because I mean, you know, and I can speak from that from experience, because I said I was in a relationship at one point, and I was like, listen, then it was like, well, how come you're not telling me this, or you don't tell me that, or why, you know what I mean, or you knew this, how come I have to find out? I was like, because whenever I try to tell you something, begin to share something with you, I can see in your face that you get ready to kirk out.
Mm-hmm.
But Carter, wait a minute, wait a
I
minute,
know, listen, I know it sounds crazy.
but what if it's not? Because that's been done to me before. Like like I would be asked to do something, and before I even get a chance to even do it or even think about it, they done already got somebody else to do it, or done already. And I said, well, you just asked me to do something. Well, I could see on your face that you wasn't feeling it. I didn't even get an opportunity to even embrace what you said.
But like you just said, you said he didn't already said, I can see in your face that you wasn't feeling it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we don't, all of our communication is not verbal.
That's true.
Non-verbal communication says a lot. If I can read your body language, read the look on your face, I mean, because I'm guilty of that one. My face will say it when my mouth don't.
Mm-hmm.
And people that
I
know me
agree.
can look at me and go, "Oh, no, 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 he ain't feeling that." You know what I mean? Because all that, you know what I mean, it don't. It's not because I said anything, but my facial expression. You know what I mean? Like I said, my mouth been delivered, but my facial expression still need Jesus. And so, you know what I'm saying? So if that man, that, you know what I mean, again, and if you're around one another at any amount of time, you get to the point where you can read that individual.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean, without them speaking. And so a lot of what is given off is, like I said, is nonverbal communication. You've given off an air to him that says, I don't care about what you got to say. You've given him an air off that says, you know what I mean, you better not say what I think you get ready to say. You know what I mean?
I yeah,
If
y'all as women, I think I partially agree with that
Yeah.
because I could myself simply be having a good day and anything could already tick me off, or I could misread your look.
Right.
And
Right.
that actually could create an argument if that's not the case. So I say with that, for me, I think I would wait and give them the opportunity before I go ahead and say accuse them, if that makes sense.
Yes, I was gonna say
I
my
know you
husband
got
and
it,
I,
Denise.
my, my husband and I deal with it. We're still working on this very thing because I'm like, Brother Carter, my mouth don't say it, but my face tells it all. And sometimes he'll look at me like, well, what's that look for? And I'll be like, oh, shoot, I didn't mean for you to see that look. But then we have a conversation and I let him know where that look came from, what I'm thinking, and we talk it through.
That's good.
We don't now get the time to say, well, forget it. Well, don't worry about it. No, we're going to talk about it. And I'm going to be more, and I've learned to be more cognizant of my face, not just with my husband, with everyone else, because my face will tell it all.
Me
So,
too.
but having that conversation, give me the opportunity. And sometimes, like he said, he'll be doing something. I'll be like, did you hear me? And he's like, yeah, but I'm processing it. Me, I want an answer. If I ask you something and I want to answer, what's taking you so long? And having that conversation and communicating about why I did what I did, what the look was about, it helps us to learn and to trust each other. Because now, when that happens again, I know you didn't mean it. I know you're processing.
So what for instance, and Carter, I'm gonna give you the floor back, but just for instance, okay. So I have an individual, and when I talk to him, I'm just having a conversation, and it is a male. I'm just having a conversation, or I'm saying something may need to be done, and there's no response. There's like a blank look on his face. And so before I go to accuse him, because I know what I'm seeing, I know what I'm thinking I'm seeing. And when I go to respond in the negative, like, well, I'm talking and you don't even hear me. His response is, I'm trying to process it. I'm trying to figure it out. Now I've already judged him in the negative based upon what I thought I seen. And so I guess I say I partially agree because I'm that individual that when I see a look or I see a nudge, then I would automatically go into the negative. But then I found myself in so much like that's not what it was, or either I've hurt people's feelings simply because I responded by what I thought I seen, and that wasn't really the case. So that's why I said I just really wanted to just because it could go too.
But can I say that I feel
And
like
it's
as I'm listening, like, and I certainly have been guilty, and I will say, and as a disclosure, I will say I can be a hopeless romantic and all that other stuff, and my face doesn't lie about anything, and I mean that's anything with anybody. But what I feel like is that we are so easily offended, like it takes nothing. Like our go-to, like our subconscious, and this is the sad part, our subconscious go-to is offense. Because if my subconscious go-to was compassion, or if my subconscious go-to was love, then even though I don't understand, I might go, babe, I don't understand what you just said. And even for us to say that, sometimes I know it may get a look like, but I thought I was clear. Well, clearly you weren't clear, sweetie.
I
I
didn't
need to
understand.
understand what you say. I tell my sons this all the time as they engage in these relationships. Seek to understand first and then be understood. To seek to understand means I have to listen first. I have to listen more before I begin to try to make you understand me. But if I start trying to get my point across before I understand what it is you are clearly saying, there's no way for the spirit of offense not to pop in. Now, what seemed innocent or what could have been innocent has now been blown out of proportion
Exactly.
because, again, that subconscious go to of offense. We are so easily offended and hurt. And I think from the beginning, we're talking about the difference between boys and men. A boy is going to be able a boy is not going to be able to share because first of all he's not even interested in that. He's not even interested in understanding. He want what he want when he want it, versus a man who understands I am in a relationship and there's us, not me. And so the communication has to be as such, and that means you have to, because you can't have a man in a relationship with a girl and think that you're going to have the same kind of conversation, the same level of conversation. It's got to be a woman and a man, or it's going to be a boy and a girl and they both acting childish, one or the other. But it can't be the mixture of that, because that's when you have all that friction that never has a resolution. So I think we have to be very mindful in as individuals and then as couples of the spirit of offense.
That's good, Carter.
Yeah. While Carter's thinking, I just wanted to say, I want to say this. Some men are still broken.
Hmm.
And because they're broken, they have not learned how to communicate. And until they get healed, whether getting the counseling or getting that other brother that they can talk with, they're going to continue to be offended. And it's also as well as the woman. Until we get healed, until we go through our own process of maturing and growing and learning how to communicate, learning to say what you mean. But and it goes back to what Brother Carter was saying, make sure your tone is right. And when you hurt me, be okay to say that hurt. This is how that made me feel. And being able to hear what the other person is saying, even without them saying it. I might say a little, and that comes with learning and growing together. Another thing is sometimes we as men and women, when we get into relationships, we want to throw the whole kitchen sink at the beginning. I don't know you.
I don't know you.
I don't know you. So I'm just learning you, and I'm not going to give you everything. But as we grow and we mature in this, and I can learn that I trusted you with that, and you didn't throw that back in my face, or I didn't hear that from somebody else, then I'll give you a little bit more. But it all boils down to knowing thyself and communication.
That's good, Pastor Moss. Let's try this
Yeah,
again.
yeah, I'm gonna try it again. Yeah,
She's back.
I'm telling you, this is good because uh I've been married for 10 years now. Being my first, the other marriage was 26 years, so it was just like all new to me again, you know. So learning him and him learning me, in the beginning, I wanted to bust his head. I wanted
To the
to
white meat.
to the white meat. But I've learned to listen. Before he would say, "You're not listening at me. You're not listening," and I would say, "I am," but I really wasn't listening. But now I begin to listen and understand. He say, "You don't know who I am." Yes, I do now. I didn't before, because before I wanted to hurt you, but I had to stay on the altar before. But now I understand who you are. So, and sometimes when he communicate, he sort of to me, he say stuff in parables. Look, I don't want to hear no parable right
You
now.
gonna leave my friend alone.
I don't want to hear parable right now. I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear it straight out. And I'm one that if I don't understand, I got to get the understanding of what you're saying, you
Mhm.
know, or I'm gonna be all messed up. But he'll say, "You'll catch it after a while." I know I want it now,
She said,
but
I
you're
want it
saying it to
now.
me now.
Okay, so the question on the floor is, do you create a safe place for him so he can share? So we just asked Carter a while ago, what does a safe place? But are we wanting it to be about us, about what we're going through? Or we're so emotional and we're expecting for him to have broad shoulders. But do I create a safe place? I'm not talking about a clean house.
I know what you're
I'm
talking.
not talking about setting the atmosphere with the music. I'm talking about just me, myself. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like, am I a soft lamp that he can?
I
I'm not
think I
talking
am
about lay his head
now.
on, but yeah, am I a soft place for him to come and lay his head back? I'm gonna say this, Pastor Keith Grayton. They used to be my leaders before my mom and them had started ministry, and I was going there for years. and I would just watch them, and I couldn't wait to get married, simply because of the fact that I wanted to be able to show. Ooh, I must still feel that way. But anyway, I could not wait to show the softer side of me for him. So when he would get out of church and he finished preaching, and and he would preach hard. Then
Yeah.
if we were traveling, he would come home, not come home, but we've been on the van, and he would take and wrap himself up, and then he would lean back on her, and she would embrace. Oh, honey, I can't wait for this. But and I'm not willing to just give it to anybody. I'm
Yeah.
just not gonna do that. So, but I learned and I watched, and he leaned back, and she just embraced him and rubbed his head as she prayed for him, or as they talked, they were whispering amongst each other. So it was as if he was no longer the strong individual. He was able, isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
Able to lean back, and she caressed him, and was there a soft place for him to lean on.
I can see that
Nowadays in
now.
2023, honey, baby, ain't too many women like that, Pastor Lillian. They not.
That now.
So that's why I said, do you create a soft place for him to be able to even share your thoughts?
I
Yes.
I think it goes to back to what Pastor Denise said too, though. In order for you to provide that for him, you really have to know who you are. So
Mm-hmm.
I won't get offended because I already know that that thing that he said, that really was a trigger from my past. And if I'm not healed from that past, and when he said it, he wasn't even talking about that. He's not the man that did it. He's not the person that hurt me. So you know what I'm saying? Sometimes we carry
Yes.
all that stuff in us without letting it go. Or we project it onto everybody else,
Yep.
everybody else. And so in order for me to create that safe place for him, I do have to understand my triggers. I do have to know, I do have to recognize
That's
that
good.
he's here to love me. He's
That's
here to
good.
love me. He's not here to hurt me, and that I need to do the same. And in order for me to love him, I can't attack him with my past. I can't attack him. I can't put that on. I can't put that burden in his lap. That was a burden I should have left at the altar
Mm-hmm.
instead of bringing it to the marriage bed. And so, yeah, I agree that it's challenging in 2023. We see in these last couple of years, we see a lot less of that as women have transitioned into more leadership roles, stronger roles. We are transforming. We see more of us becoming more masculine than ever, and having a hard time with the balance of
That's a
who.
whole nother show. Ooh. Oh.
Right, I'm saying that this is what I'm seeing as couples are coming in, and I'm talking to people about all different areas of their lives. I'm seeing us as women struggle with the balance, and because we are struggling, we now don't even feel like we have to make an effort to be a soft place for him to fall, because I work like he do. I take care like he do. I bring in more, or I bring in what he does, and so now what should have been a level playing field for us both, an exchange of power. When he's strong, I don't have to be, and when I'm strong, he don't have to be. What should have been a level playing field is now going out the window, because now we're in a relationship, but it's competitive.
Mm,
Now we're competing. We
not
competing for
good.
who wears the pants.
Mm-hmm. Not
That
good.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
we've got two married women on here, but Pastor Lillian, could you understand what I was saying? Like that excitement of not being able to wait to get to be able to do that. Like it's
I
yeah.
can understand because I felt the same. Look, even when you were saying it, I have a couple that work with me, and I love watching them. I love watching them because I think for the first time in my life, I will say that, because I've seen all kinds of relationships, but for the first time in my life, I see the exchange of power. I see that she's there for him and he's there for her. And when you were describing it, that's exactly how they create an atmosphere around each other. And I mean, and it extends. He When she needs him,
Yeah.
he's right there. When he needs her, she's right there. There's no big I, little you. There's no pointing. Yes, as a single woman, I cannot wait to have that. But what I do understand is that as a single woman, everybody doesn't deserve this now new knowledge of being a soft place. So I can't be in a relationship with a boy. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? I got to be in a relationship with a whole grown man,
yeah.
and a whole grown man that knows who he is and who he serves, because then he'll know. Because I may not mean to let my slip show when a little piece of my brokenness pop out. Something triggered me, and,
Mm,
and before I caught it, it popped out. And I need him to be a little more compassionate with me. But that only comes from him knowing him and him having a relationship with God. So while I am yet desiring that, I know it will take cultivating.
Mm-hmm.
So,
That's
okay. So now the same question to the married women with a little twist on it, because I was just listening to what she was saying. So, is it important? I normally ask questions that I already know. Welcome to the platform. So, is it important for me to make sure I'm complete, or I'm whole, or
yeah.
I'm healed before marriage? Because if I'm not, is she saying that I might bring chaos to the atmosphere instead of peace? Is that what you're saying?
I
I
think
can go
go
ahead,
ahead.
Pastor Moss. Go ahead.
That was good what she was saying, and I have learned since I've been married again that soft place is really good. Now he trusts me. Before he did not open up to me, but now he opened up, and we are able to really sit and talk. But before we didn't do that, In the beginning, I was like, Lord, is this what you told me, Lord, that this was my husband? Now, what the world's going on? But I had to work on me, you know. Uh, when my husband passed away, it was 8 years between when I remarried. So it was like I was enjoying being single again, but you know, yet and when the Lord told me that that was my husband, it was like, oh Lord, I'm good,
Oh, I'm
But
good.
but I'm really, really because he was really what I needed. He was really what I needed. And he really helped me to heal more, than where I was at, you know. But I thank God that now he can trust me, because before, if he said something to me, I would like, what you mean? And I would tell him, what, you bipolar or what?
Oh my God. Jeez.
Because he would be like really good one minute, but then it would be like a trigger. I guess I triggered something in him.
He's trying to follow you.
And I said, you bipolar. So, but now we understand each other. We can listen at each other without, you know, me going crazy or he going crazy, because I don't sweat the small stuff. You
That's
know.
good.
Can I ask the married women on the platform?
Hold on just a minute. I think Pastor Denise wanted to say something first.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was just going to say what Pastor Moss said, I ditto it. I was married for 30 something years in my first marriage. I'll be married for 5 years, the 16th of this month, after dating for 5 months, long distance, doing Skype and all of that. Thinking I'm healed because I took the time
You said
to
thinking.
be
Thinking,
with me, to learn me. But
yeah,
when we got married, there was some triggers. I was like, whoa, dude, hold up, Lord, same thing. God, I know what you said, but what's going on? You know? And we both had to work through that, but God put us the purpose, we're purpose partners. And I know what knew some years that he is exactly what I needed. And
yeah,
I'm exactly who he needed. And we complement each other.
Good stuff.
And then to say, so yes, I do create a safe place for him. And I do that because I asked him. I talk with him. I communicate. How do you
Communicate.
like I know how I like my home to be, but he might want to come home, throw his stuff everywhere. And I had to learn to be at peace with that. He'll pick him up when he get ready. You
Yeah.
know, I know how he likes his meal. He don't like a lot of noise, a lot of, I'm a worshiper and a praiser, so I can go in one of my rooms and I'll just go at it. He's more silent and quiet. My husband is so humble and quiet, and I'm the loud one, but we complement each other. And
Right.
so I thank God for that. The one thing I do want to say is when a woman knows her strength, she won't stronghold her man. When
That's
she
good,
knows
girl.
her strength, she won't
Yes,
strong
that's good.
arm her
Look,
man. It doesn't
look,
take what
look, you got
I
that
know.
from him.
I
That's
know
a
when to
big one.
step
That's
back and
major.
let you be the man. Let you handle your stuff. I know when my husband has this tone in his voice or this look on his face, and I'm like, Denise, you better sit your happy hips down. Let it go.
Let
So
it go.
being the strong, independent, all of that. But baby, I need my man.
I know that's right.
Go ahead,
Major.
that's Lillian. You can go ahead and ask the question, and then we'll bring Rayon
Hmm. Yep.
on.
Well,
I
she
said
right.
it.
Yay, Pastor Denise pretty much answered it, because what I wanted to ask was when you met your significant other, were you aware, were you cognizant of your broken pieces? Because I think sometimes, I know for me, why I say that is I think sometimes my trepidation or my hesitancy with certain people is I know I can be a lot when I'm happy. I sure know if I'm sad that we gonna have issues, because I'm
I can be
reclusive. Like I'm an introvert, so I turn it into myself and I'm silent, I'm mute. And so my question was, and you pretty much almost answered, was when you met, were you aware of you? Were you aware of your triggers? Were you aware of your broken pieces? Did you feel like he needed to know them in the discussion? Like, look, I got some broken areas. I would love to explore a relationship with you, but bruh, I got some pieces over here that I'm still dealing with.
Yes. Pastor Moss, you want to go ahead?
Yeah, I thought I was healed. Anyway, I thought I was. And we really talked a lot before we got married. You know, we talked about everything, what we liked, what we didn't like, and all of that. But when it was a whole different ball game when we when we got married, when we got in the house together, it was just like, and I was always one that always wanted to be right. I was, no, that's not right. No, he said, you always want to be right. No, I don't, but I really did. So I had to really get that, you know, because I want to speak. I got to speak, and even if we got in an argument, I want if he would go in the bedroom, shut the door. You don't shut no doors on me. I I was one of them, but always wanted to be in control. That's what it
Ooh.
really was.
That's
I
good.
wanted to be in control.
Control.
But
Yes.
I've learned that no, you can't be in control. Let him be the man and you be the woman. You know,
Yes. And the
that's
same thing here when my husband and I, like I said, we got married. Um, like I said, I went to counseling, I had prayer, I was seeking God. But like Pastor Moss said, when we lived together and some things started happening, some buttons started getting pushed, and I'm like, Lord, where is this coming from? And I finally had to really go on a fast and just set aside and say, Lord, it's not him, it's me. What is
me.
this? What's going on? And God
It
revealed to
was
me
me.
that there were some areas that I was not healed. I had kind of like suppressed them, I guess if you can say,
Right.
or thinking, okay, I'm good, but I really wasn't good. So I thank God he used my husband to push those buttons so I could get healed.
Yeah,
And my husband understood the assignment. That's what he tells me. I understood God. I know God gave you as my wife, and I understood my assignment.
that's
Okay.
good.
All right. So Rayon, I want you to introduce yourself. And right after that, we're gonna go into a commercial break. We're gonna come right back. We got 20 minutes. All right, go ahead. Let
Okay.
everybody know who you are and where you're from.
Blue. How you doing? I'm Rain. Born out of Florida. I was raised in Maryland and finished school in Delaware. So all over the place. Familiar with the area.
Okay.
I grew up in the church, so I'm very familiar with church, and I do have a very good relationship with God.
All right. So real quick, I want you to hit this topic. So what
Okay.
does a woman create in a safe place for you to be able to share? What does that look like to you?
Looks like peace. I mean, for me, well, I'm pretty sure for any man that there is no relationship if you can't trust her. You will never make it out of that dating phase or that honeymoon stage. That's the reason why I'm single, honestly, because it's so hard to find people who you feel comfortable with to open completely up. They might make it through phase one or phase two, but they don't make it to phase three. And that's usually whether you like them, how much you got in common, are you compatible, and then that last one is how much trust can I put into this person, and you know.
So you just give
So
them the boot. You just kick them to the curb.
I ain't gonna say that, but uh,
Yeah.
I'm not the easiest. Some of it could be me. I'm not biased to that at all. But yeah, I'm not one to waste people's time. It's because of how serious I take it.
Okay.
So yeah.
That was good. All right. So guys, we're gonna come right back. Okay, all right. So we are back and we are
Yeah.
talking about emotions. We're talking about emotions. So the next question that's on the board before we leave out of here, did he go?
Nope.
Okay, you're back. Because some
Yep.
of us women, some of us beautiful women, we want to know that when we want to know why when a man goes into processing or he goes into thinking about something that he's going through, or he's depressed, or he's in pain, how come we only see anger? How come that's the only emotion that we see is the anger? Talk to us.
Me.
Yep.
Okay. Good. That's a good one. That's a very very good one. And it's a frustrating one. It's frustrating for us, and I know it's definitely frustrating for you guys. Um, Honestly, it's because it sounds terrible, but it's the truth, and that's what I'm here for. I'm here for the real. I'm here to give you all the truth and help y'all understand men a little better. Just because that's the safest place for us to do it. Do it on the job, you get fired. You're intimidating, especially if you got a little size to you like me. You can never express yourself anywhere. The whole world's scared. And in turn, we got to be scared. Even though we the big bad wolf, we got to be scared. Ain't nobody getting shot like we getting shot. Ain't nobody being penalized and thrown in jail like we getting thrown out. Ain't nobody being backstabbed, having the whole world turn their back on them, including our women half the time if they're not saved, sanctified, and delivered from certain things like we are. So where can we express this stuff? That's why we seem so crazy because we don't have anywhere to express ourselves. So sorry, but it is what it is. Sometimes we come home and we believe that, especially if we got somebody who's mouthy, mouthy, mouthy. When we come home, that's supposed to be the safe haven, peace. That's why a lot of times we create these things to go do, whether it's shoot hoops or go out with the boys or but we got to work on it. That comes with maturity. It comes with time. It comes with self development and working on yourself. You do have to find ways to handle that, but that is what it is. As simple as that. Unfortunately, it's because you don't have that many outlets to express yourself as a black man. Unfortunately,
Okay, so women, I'm not even gonna allow y'all to even elaborate or either say anything on that. We just gonna process that and we're gonna take it in. Cause us as women, we can come back and we can explain, but we ain't gonna say nothing. We just gonna process it, and we're gonna take it in, and we're gonna learn. So this is our next. This is the next thing. So when a man is going through his process of his emotions or trying to feel his emotions and all of that, and he takes and he begins to either become quiet or he gets angry. Do you ever feel isolated as he's working on his pain?
I can say that with my husband, I used to, but again, that came with us learning each other. I read this book and I read it a couple of times, and I think Pastor Roach mentioned it earlier. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. So I understand now that sometimes he has to go into his cave, and I let him stay there until he's ready to come out, or he makes a move or something he wants to talk, and then we'll talk about it. So but before I learned him, and before I got healed and from my insecurities and rejection, and understood that he's not isolating me, he's working on something, he's processing something, it has nothing to do with me, and when
Yeah,
he's ready, I'm going to be here and be available.
That's good.
that's true. That's very true because when Ray get angry, I said, well, it ain't even about me. And I had to learn that. But before I would really go at it. But now when he get upset, I say to myself, oh, it ain't about me. I either just be quiet and let him go and do him, or then later I'll say, you okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and he'll say, yeah, I'm okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Usually I'm probably the one making them feel isolated, quite frankly, because I tend to shut down. And it's not that I'm shutting down, and I use that word because that's the word that has been used to speak over me when people think that I am isolating them or shutting them out, and I'm not. I'm praying. I'm praying, I'm processing, I'm working through it. I'm trying not to infect you with what's going on with me. And so, from the other angle, being in a relationship, do I feel isolated? I don't feel isolated because I know how I need to process. So, usually, when I see them again, but I make it a habit of studying people, including my man. And so I'm going to pay attention to if that's what he needs. Now I will feel sometimes like I'm badgering him. I may go, "Are you all right, babe?"
Yeah.
And he may say that he is, or he may not say anything. And maybe a few minutes later, like, "Are you okay? Are you? Do you want to talk about it?" Because I'm trying to be sensitive, and he'd be like, "I need you to shut up right now." Right? Yeah, and then I be trying not to be in my little feelings, right? I'm saying, but I do understand that he just needs some space. And so, like I said, generally that's me, but when they're like that, I do get it and I understand. So I don't feel isolated. Actually, I feel empowered because I feel strong enough to let him have his space and not think it's about me.
Well, that's good. And it's funny because like you said a while ago, I'm that kind of person. Like I could be like God when COVID during the pandemic and they shut everything down, honey. I was in heaven. I love I love every bit of it because that meant that I'm not gonna have company. I'm not gonna have I'm just that kind of individual. But more so when I'm going through, I like my quiet moments.
Yes.
I'll
Yeah.
try because I need to think. I need to figure it out. And then, but I do want you to be there when I get to a point of where I'm like, okay, I don't have this figured out. And then I need to talk to you. But if
Right.
you're constantly trying to, trying to badger me or trying to get me to talk, that's going to irritate me. And so I look at me and then I'm like, maybe men may be that same way. So when
Right.
they said, hey, just give me a minute, in the middle of an argument, this is not me, but in the middle of an argument, if he says, give me a minute, and he goes into another room, most women go running in the other room. We're gonna talk about it right now. I need to know what's going on. And all you're doing is making it
Used to
worse.
be
Because
me.
if he's saying just be quiet for a minute and he's gonna come back and he's gonna talk about it, it's about respect. Like
Right.
you literally have to be, and you have to know who you are. Rayon, what's your thought on that?
I think it's perfect, and I'm glad. I got to go back to the first point that was made because that's something that I forgot to add in. She chimed right in right after me. Lady, Red, I'm so sorry. I'm bad with names. But she chimed in and said at halftime it's not even on us, and that's correct.
Right.
A lot of times when people blowing off steam, you got to remember it's not about you. It's something that they're battling, something they're going through. So it's a cool off period that needs to take place, and that goes back to what she said about leaving the room. Um, can't antagonize people, give them their space, and all that comes from the process, which no one wants to do. I call it something called being built for the long run. Not many people built for the long run. They want to jump in when it's hot and when it's cool, or but you got to be built to last, especially if you want something to work for the long run. So it takes time to get to know your partner and learn their ins and outs, and you got to be built to last. You got to be in it for the long run.
That's good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So, do you attack him when he's weak? Come on, women. Come on, women. And you know what? And I'm not talking about us because there are people who do that, and that's why I wanted to make sure I just brought. I would. I know things that I'm not even a mate. I'm a whole woman, but I got some friends that irritate the crap out of me. And listen, if I'm saying I'm in a bad place right now or I'm feeling depressed, leave me the heck alone. And don't, if I'm saying I don't want to be bothered, don't make it an argument. You're attacking me now. So, do you attack him when he's weak? Like he did this last month, and I want sure, but I'm gonna get him now that he in a bad place. Let's talk.
Oh Lord, no.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, it does happen. I mean, that's human nature on some people's part, and it takes a process. Everything's a process. It takes a process of growing and maturing. And if and when you do that, I can guarantee you that he's going to go in the cave and he's going to stay there much longer. That's just going to take a minute for him to tell you anything else. That it's going to take
Mm-hmm.
a while for him to trust you again with anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we have to understand that men are human and their flesh just like we are. So if I wouldn't want anyone to use something I've done or said or gone through to use it to attack me, then why would I do that to the person I say God gave to me or that I gave my covenant, I'm in covenant with? Why would I want to do that? Yeah, a lot of people do that. And it's unfortunate, but yeah, no, we should not be doing that.
Y'all go ahead and speak.
Yeah, I definitely won't do that, because I don't like it done to me. So I don't do that. I don't call him out of his name or anything like that. Even when I got mad, I wouldn't do that because I didn't like it done to me. So, you know, when I see him in a weak place, I'm not gonna attack him, you know, and or anything like that. But you know, a lot of women do it.
Okay, Pastor Lillian.
I think, I don't mean, I am not laughing. I honestly, please know my heart. I'm not laughing. So, as a single woman, if I'm dating and he's having a weak moment, no, I'm not going to attack him if I'm getting to know him and things like that. But as a man, and I'm so sorry to say this, that I am joining the bandwagon and saying that, you know, he can't have a weak moment every day
Better not.
That's
while we
a whole
date.
other story.
You know what I'm saying? Everything can't be, I'm having a moment, because at that particular point, and again, I'm talking as a single woman dating, we probably ain't going to date much longer. And I will just be like, it has been really interesting. It's been interesting. I appreciate you so much, but I really don't feel like this is the one for me. Like, this is
So,
probably.
but wait, and I'm gonna come to you because I want to know, I want to know from you, how does it feel being a man and being attacked in a weak moment? So, because we need to hear that. Let's get back to you, sis. Okay, so listen, because what if I'm married and he's going through something and he does have a weak every
But
day?
but that's two different things. That's why I preface to say, as
Okay.
a single woman getting to know someone, it's probably not for me.
Okay, it's not. It's
If
not.
he has not learned how to process, if he has not learned how to let me in, maybe I can help, maybe I can shoulder load. If he has not matured to that level, but every day he's got to brood about something, every day something's wrong, and something like that going on as a single woman, I probably can't even pray that one through.
Okay,
However,
so listen.
Listen.
Listen, so wait a minute. So here's the thing, okay? So here's the thing.
I'm sorry.
No. You're good,
Mm-mm.
but here's the thing, because that was me at one point in time. But then in dating someone who I really really liked, he was going through every single day, and it was overwhelming. It was. I
Right
mean, I
there.
couldn't even. But listen. So I couldn't even keep up with the everyday problems. Picking up the phone and there's family issues, there's baby mama drama, there's going, and I did the best that I could to be there with him. But guess what? And I loved him. I loved him. I loved everything about him. But it was just that spot. But I did not. I didn't want to attack him. There was some moments I listened, and then the phone was like this as he was complaining. It was so bad for him, which I missed it because I was thinking about what you're taking me through. I missed it. And not just because of me, but because of the cares of life, he committed suicide.
Mhm.
You understand what I'm
I
saying?
understand.
And it was the cares of, but I think it was somebody earlier said, well, get them help from somebody that you know. You're saying you don't have to go through it. You don't have to handle it. You know what I mean? So you take, if you got a brother or if you got a father, or if you listen, get this man help. If you care for him, you get him help, because
Yes.
you ain't got the patience for it. That makes sense.
Or
Yeah.
clinical help, you know what I'm saying? But there are all kinds of ways, even clinical help. It's such a taboo. So there are many ways for me to support you, but not be in relation with you. I can't see me being in covenant at that point because now I'm drowning too.
And let me say that because I secretly broke up with him. I didn't want him to be embarrassed by by the church and all these people. So I just told him, "Hey, I can't do, but I'll be a very really really close friend to you." And I tried to stick it out, but I, like you said, I could not do that relationship because he was moving me with what he was going through, and I was doing the best that I could to be there for him. But I would dare not. The stuff that I was feeling on the inside was like, yo, I mean, my God, you getting on my nerves. My God, you got to call me. Those are things. So I was working out my own stuff
Mhm.
quietly so that I would not attack him.
Right.
That
And
makes
that's why I said, I prefaced to say that it was, as a single woman, that's
Mhm.
how, what I'm saying. And I can be your friend and not be in covenant relationship with you, not be in a relationship and get you help. And because I'm not tied to you and I'm not drowning too. Now, in my relationship, if I'm married to you, we going through. It's not you going through, we going through.
Listen,
If we married,
listen.
we
Before
going
I
through.
give him the floor, listen. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna say it. And there's some church women, some people that's married, and I mean good and good and good and good and good and good in a relationship, right? And those men do get attacked, and they may not get just follow me. Look at the picture, and they may not get attacked verbally. So she may not attack him verbally when he's weak, but what she will do is go on shut down those,
I
or
was
what
thinking the
she
same
will
thing.
do is she'll close up the cookie jar, or
Mhm.
what she will do is she'll leave and egg him out, and he's at a weak moment. Woo, my God, he's at a weak moment, and when he
You don't
needs
do that.
there the most, that's literally a form of attack.
I was gonna say that is attack.
Listen.
It's not a form of attack. That is an
It
attack.
That's
is.
a
And you are
fact.
leaving that man wide open for any and
Yeah.
anything to
Yes.
enter in. And baby, let me tell you, I worked too hard,
That's
pray
right.
too long,
For
love
somebody
God
else.
too much to leave that door open for somebody else.
Right.
So if
And
I
you know,
got to
and
go
you know,
off,
and this is the sad thing, and I'm gonna let you go, sir. But I really felt that in my spirit. That's why I wanted to share that, because women can be catty, right?
Yeah.
and you know that your husband or whatever, it really, listen, because sometimes he don't need your voice. He don't need a Bible scripture. Hold on, people leaving comments. I'm messing up over here. So so
Yeah.
he don't need a Bible verse. And you can give him a Bible verse. I'm not saying don't give it to him, but I'm quite sure if he your man, he your husband, and y'all going to church and y'all pastors or whatever, I'm quite sure he know, right? He may just need you to be like Job's friends. Just shut up and just sit there quietly. Just because sometimes I don't have body presence, and I got a whole puppy. And sometimes just that puppy just being there makes me feel better. It makes me feel like I'm not lonely. Am I talking good? I'm talking good. Right. So but we'll attack them with, I'm going to church. You don't feel like talking, and you don't want me about, I'm going to church. And you go to church, do what you need to do, and you come home and he's still in the same place. You go right to bed and don't say nothing to him.
Oh
Like,
no.
I mean, am I talking right? That's
Yes.
attacking when he's weak.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And unfortunately, I think a lot of that is learned behavior.
Mhm.
I
That's
can say
demonic.
some women that I counsel, have counseled their mama did it, their grandmama did it, and they just learned that that's one way to get back at him is to close the kitchen, don't cook dinner, go out and do what you want to do, not understanding that you're emasculating that man. You are wounding that man, but then you come back and you expect him to continue to do what you need to do. Especially when we talk about those in the body of Christ. And I think it starts with the older women teaching the younger women, and the younger women wanting to be taught how to take care of your home, how to take care of your man. And I'm gonna say it, some of the old women need to be taught by some of the younger women. Okay,
Yeah.
it is what it is. But we need to be taught how to be a wife or a mate, how to love that man without losing yourself.
That's it.
That's good. And I
That's
I didn't see anybody do it. Just with being a coach and with listening to people's stories and some things that they've said and them being Christians. I'm a single woman, and I'm like, how the heck? That's not what that ain't what, you know what I mean? Like, that's not, I don't think that's what you're supposed to be, that you ain't supposed to be doing. And if you're always, I'm so sick of him, he get on my nerves. And listen, that's one thing you need not to be saying. If you think it, keep it to yourself. You don't need to put that in the atmosphere, because
no.
that's a whole nother show. All right. So, sir, what is, I don't know whether you ever felt like you were attacked when you were weak, but if you were, what
Hmm.
does that feel like? What does, as a man, how does that make you feel on the inside? Because guess what? Us as women, we don't know. But as a man, how does that make you feel inside?
Uh, I can't speak for them, but I imagine they feel the same. Same thing as if you vulnerable or if you got something going on and you attacked as a low blow and you know it's a low blow. To me, it's not so much of. I mean, of course, it's a reflection on you where you are at the time. That's life. You're gonna go through ups and downs. That's a reflection on their character more so it is on you. So to me, I do a whole synopsis of who I'm dealing with. Um, I already know this is somebody who's built a certain way, and I'm already calculating. Okay, if you'll do that now, you know, I'm taking
Mhm.
note of that. I'm not saying I'm gonna hold it against you, but I don't forget nothing. So
He
I'm
said,
pretty sure I
he
don't
said,
forget nothing. So
okay, so this is my last question before I give you guys my platform. All right. So most men, well, not most, I gotta watch what I say. Men, when men, with I guess what they internalize things, or they take it on, they deal with it quietly or what have you, or they go into their cave. So what happens when you miss the fact that this man is trying to figure something out? He's depressed, or he's overwhelmed, or whatever it is that he's going through, and we as women, we miss it, and he goes in his cave and he becomes to get quiet or standoffish or what have you, and he gets stuck in that cave. What? I mean, how do we bring him out? If he gets stuck, because as we're listening, and these are some routines or things that men go through, and this is how men deal with it, and so it just becomes the norm now. We're looking like, oh, that's just the norm. I'll just wait till he get over it. But what if he never comes out of it? What if he is like he's there, but he's not there? Because listen, just like women, some men are good actors. They're gonna get you flowers on Valentine's Day and come and he really in his mind saying, I really this Lord Jesus, I'll just say this woman really getting on my nerves and everything, even her voice is annoying me. But I love her. Valentine's Day come, he does what he's supposed to do for Valentine's Day, but you don't even know that he's broken, he's just bailed out because you're looking at his routine. How
Mm,
do you get him out?
You should know who he is.
But what
mm,
Mhm.
if you don't?
mm. Can I
That's
say
That's
something?
wrong if you
that's the
don't
Yep,
know.
problem.
go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
That's a big problem.
Well, that's true. I like what she said about you should know who you're dealing with, but also just get creative. Women ain't the only ones who like romance and spice. Switch it up. Throw away gone. Everybody like makeup. This now is the time to do it. Get creative. And want
I
to go
was
look good look for Shoni and Barbara at the club and spice it up for your man. Throw that makeup on for your
Well, wait
man.
a
Get a
minute. All
wig.
three of these is
Get some
pastors. I'm
lingerie.
hoping they don't be. No, no, you're good because
no,
other people are
no.
watching
I was
too.
thinking the same. I was
Huh?
thinking the same thing. He said it.
Am I going too far left?
No, no,
No, you're
no.
good.
I was
Oh,
thinking, he's saying the same thing I was sitting here thinking. I was thinking, sometimes I knew when I was married, sometimes I knew that when my husband was falling, and that's what, in my mind, that's what it was. Like for whatever he was dealing with, he couldn't just seem to shake it. And sometimes we needed to go right back to the basics. And sometimes I
Baby.
needed to be the soft one. I needed to be the feminine. I needed to allow him to make love to me and to release whatever it was that was pent up in his spirit, in his soul. I needed to be the one to hold him and to hug him and to entice him. I needed to be the one. And sometimes it was the aftermath that he would say, babe, I've been dealing with that
Yeah,
pillow
that
talk.
pillow
That
talk. That
pillow
pillow
talk
yeah,
would
talk.
tell me, babe, you know what? I've been dealing with this thing and
Wait,
I
I'm
just
single.
don't
I shouldn't
know.
have said it like that, but y'all know what I meant.
yeah, yeah. No, you good. We know what time
Yeah.
it is. I mean, it's we simple. I know people say it and
Yeah,
it sounds cliche, but sometimes it's just that. Like, go back to the beginning.
yeah.
It's some
I'm
of the same
sorry,
things we need
Pastor.
to do sometimes. Y'all need to be do sometimes. Go back to the beginning. Get creative. Remember who you're dealing with. Remember how you got them. Same
And
Yeah,
thing
that's
men need
why
to do sometimes. Remember the beginning. Remember how hard you work. Remember how sweet
because
nothing you was
listen,
blowing.
if you always trying to, I'm not married. I've been in relationships, but I can't talk for a married person. So for
Gotcha.
the ones who may be looking like, how's she giving advice and she not married? Because I done
Yeah.
messed up a whole lot of
Likewise.
relationships. Okay.
Exactly.
And I've dated some pastors, but I've still I've done it wrong. So now looking back, I think
Hmm.
that advice that you just gave them is
Yeah.
perfect because you
Hmm.
can't always be thinking, yes, you go to God, yes, you pray for your
Hmm.
husband, you do all that spiritual stuff, and he going through and he depressed and he wants his wife, and you're giving him pastor,
you
or
giving him the
or
Hmm.
Bible and he want you.
you're giving him the prayer warrior, and he
Yeah.
Mhm.
ain't seen his wife since the day he said I do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yes.
Always.
Also, yeah, also I want to say to piggyback off what Pastor Lillian and everyone is saying is sometimes your mate, and I can talk about my husband. I went and I only can talk experience currently. If he's going through something, and because of so much of the stress that was on him, we weren't able to be, we weren't intimate and sexually, but I allowed
Mm.
him to lay in my lap. I
Mhm.
rubbed his head. I
Okay.
prayed for him. We sat and just talked. We just
I
sat
can't
and
wait to
watched
do that.
movies or just being present with him and letting him know I got you.
Mhm.
Mm.
So sometimes ladies don't think that because, thank you, Lord, because he doesn't want to have sex with
Mm.
you at that
Right.
moment, whether
Right.
you got your negligee on or whatever it may be, and he might be like, baby, not right now. I've learned, especially with my husband, a lot of men, if they're on stress, it's hard for them.
Right.
Some is the
Mm.
Unwind.
opposite. So
Yeah.
again, you got to know your man. So I
That's
know
right.
my
Mhm.
husband, when he's overly stressed, I ain't getting none. but I know how to get his attention.
Or
I
Right.
know
you
Hmm.
how
know
to
what?
bring him back.
And that's
He may love you enough
It's a great
that
one.
he doesn't want
Yeah.
to pull that frustration on you.
Yes.
And then you not knowing who you are or not knowing how to be there for him, you create a whole argument. What you seeing somebody else? What are you looking at
Yes.
somebody?
Oh God.
That's
Yes.
that's unnecessary. So as a woman, there's things you can do. Run his bathroom. Some men say, I ain't getting in no tub. But there's some men who do love this. Do a massage.
yeah.
There you go.
Do something that has nothing to do with church because he
Hmm.
constantly sees you in that church
Mhm.
light. Reach out to him because guess what? It's your duty, it's your job to help pull him out of that. And so the
Yes.
longer he stays, or you have to ask yourself, am I not doing something? Don't I'm not saying take the blame, but y'all
Mhm.
understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, baby, let's go out to eat, or let's take
Yes.
a ride. I drive you for a ride, or let's
Good
take a walk.
Denise.
And you might say, well, I don't walk, I don't walk. Well, just walk in your backyard. Just take that
Yes.
Hmm. Something.
hours. Like he said, be creative. There
Be
are
creative.
that you can do that does not always have to do with turning on the TV and blasting
Uh,
praise and worship music or radaya kiataya all
Hmm.
through the house and singing all. Come on now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We really
Yeah.
honestly got to do better because guess what? Every time you turn around, you hear about a woman. I'm depressed. I'm going through my
Mhm.
emotions, my this, my that. And we never honestly once, not everybody, but don't think about is he going through? I
Yeah.
wonder how he's dealing. I wonder if he's even does he feel safe to be emotional? Don't even talk about a man crying in front of you. Don't even talk about some women don't even allow men to
Forget that.
cry.
Crazy.
Mhm.
Oh, you can
I,
forget
I
that anywhere. If you ain't don't even know his language enough to get him out the cave, you can forget
You ain't gonna
that.
get
That ain't happening.
Right.
right.
I
you ain't
know
gonna
how
get
to bring Ray out of the cave.
and
All
you
I
wonder and you wonder why he working so long doubles and he don't. Oh honey, listen, I'm gonna say it.
Oh.
He working
Oh.
he working doubles and he don't want to come home, or he taking a long way home, and you are or you know what I mean, or he's always on the phone with his kids, or he don't want to be bothered with you. Like, dig into that and try to just figure it out, like what's going on, because sometimes you can miss it. Listen, I got a
yeah.
lot of good friends and I miss it, but I always make sure I do random texts. I love you. I'm thinking about you. Or just a heart. It don't mean anything, but you never know that heart or that I love you, and not a I love you, I want to be with you. Just a I love you. It may reach them at a moment where they are at their lowest. It's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with get your phone and send a beautiful message to your man, to your spouse.
Or a picture.
Hmm.
Or wait a
Yeah.
minute.
Whatever,
Hold on.
however
Or
picture you
That's the
want.
married.
there
That's
you
the
go.
married people.
That's a married folk.
Yeah.
Well,
So all
Going
right.
back to
So what
Pastor
else?
Denise, that was great too. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
Are
but
you
going back
good?
to piggyback off Pastor Denise, I said we simple, but sometimes, especially me, I'm not as simple as some guys. I am a little more complex and creative and a little more outspoken and I think a little deeper. So I'm glad Pastor Denise brought up a great point. Sometimes it ain't gotta be as simple. It ain't always just sex or it could be a message or sometimes it just be sitting down and having that intimate conversation. Sometimes guys want for that stuff too. If it's been 2 months and 3 months, and y'all wonder what's going on. That's the reason why he in the cave now, because it's like, what's missing? He wondering just like you wondering.
So wait,
So
did he just spell that
He
out?
did.
SEX.
I'm
So
sorry.
listen,
I'm trying not to
and
trying to be,
listen, and there are so many
Yeah.
different ways. I'm not married, okay, so I ain't even supposed. But anyway, I'm grown. I'm big and grown. It's not always about sex. You can be
yeah.
intimate with an individual, with your person,
Mhm.
without sex.
Yes.
Talk to his mind.
Yes.
There's
Uh,
You can touch him, you can caress him and allow him to feel what you really feel, and he
Mhm.
can get it. But my
there you
God, if
go.
you don't do it, I know some people say I'm not a feet person, but my God, massage his feet,
There
allow
you go.
the blood to circulate, loosen up all that tension. Come on now. You know what I mean? So anyway, before I get too far, because listen, I promise you, I cannot wait until the right person comes along and I get married, because I know how to treat a man, but I am just not willing to give it to anybody.
Yes,
And just
Mm-hmm.
ma'am.
because you say you're my boyfriend, you're not my husband. Oh, no, but you're not my husband. I'm talking about that good that I seen my mom treat my dad. So I know. But anyway, I want to give you guys my platform, and I want you to minister to that man that is out there and he is broken. Let me say this: minister to that man who is strong. He's a very, very, very strong person. He goes to work every day. He stands behind the pulpit. He preaches to his congregation. He's good to his kids. I mean, that man, but he's deeply broken on the inside, and everybody is missing it. I want you to take time, and I want you to minister to that man. I'm gonna let you go last because you are a man, but I want you to
Okay.
take time out, and I want you to minister. Forget the woman, forget about her. I want you to reach that man that may be watching. All right. So, Pastor Denise,
Good evening, my brother. Um, to that one that is struggling, you're everything to everybody and wonder who's going to be somebody to you. I pray that you will seek brotherly love, brotherly communication, get the counseling, whatever you need to do to get healed, because God truly does have someone out there for you, someone that's going to love you, someone that's going to be your true helpmeet, someone that's going to allow you to lay in your lap, in their lap, and not cut your hair off. Someone that's going to be your companion, someone that is going to be a safe place for you. Someone that's able to communicate where you can grow and love and learn together and learn each other's love language and learn how to speak each other's language, that purpose partner that God has for you. And I know you may be afraid because you've been hurt or wounded or whatever before. I can tell you from experience, God is a healer of broken things, and he will give you that one that's going to love you right where you are. Trust yourself, trust God, and just make the move to be free. Tell yourself, this is the last day that I'm going to be in this place. I'm going to get who God has for me. God bless you, and I'm praying for you.
I'm sorry, Pastor Moss, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself.
Yes, I would like to say to that young man or that even the older man, I would like to say that you can be healed all the way through. You don't have to be broken. You don't have to, like Pastor Denise said, there's somebody there for you, somebody that you're able to talk to and talk through, somebody that you can trust, somebody that you will be able to lay your head and not worry about, is this going anywhere? But you can just trust and believe that that person will be there for you. God bless you.
I'm a little slower than I normally am. Sorry about that. Pastor Lillian, I'm trying to bring you up. All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry I didn't listen. I'm sorry that you felt like you were alone. I'm sorry that I didn't understand. I'm sorry I was selfish. I'm sorry that you felt like you had no one when you gave everything. I'm sorry that when you needed me most, I wasn't there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I wasn't even informed enough, invested enough to care about what you were thinking and what you were feeling. And I promise I'm going to make a change. I want you to understand that there is someone out there that's sorry. Not only is she sorry, she's waiting for you. She's waiting for you. She's waiting to heal you. She's waiting to hold you. She's waiting to be the helpmate that she was created to be. So hold on just a little while longer. and understand that not everybody's trying to get you, not everybody's out to hurt you, that there is the someone that not only is she sorry, but she will see you.
Right.
Sheesh.
I know that was
Oh yeah,
that was good, wasn't it? He's like, oh,
man,
he
that was
he like,
too
okay,
good.
Pastor.
It was too good. Why I had to go behind her? She a whole professional host out here. Needs to call Tyler Perry. Who's she auditioning for? Oh man. I just want to say, keep your head down, keep your head up, keep pressing on. It's not over till you say it's over. Um, after dark is always a light, and keep going. Story continues. That's
Right,
all I
good.
got.
All right, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. And do not be afraid to open up your mouth and let someone know you need them. Because not everybody is picking it up. Not everybody is picking up the signs. And some of us are ready and eager to be that helping hand for you. All right, so I want to say thank you guys. Listen, we didn't get any comments tonight, and that was a good thing. That means people was listening. That's the way I look at it. I appreciate everybody, the men that came in, the men that left, everybody. I think that this was very informative on tonight. A lot of nuggets were given to the women, and a lot of nuggets were given to the men. So I want to say I'm hoping and praying that you guys have an amazing evening, and I'm hoping that you will do it on purpose. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night.
100 with Meshell as she talks about life.